Hi guys, my name's Nadine. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to share with you my list of possibilities for the historical fiction readathon that's taken place in the month of June. This is being hosted by Shelley Swearingen. I will post her announcement video down below. I'm super excited because actually I was planning on reading historical fiction anyway, so it's all just sort of fell into place. Yeah, very much looking forward to this. So there are a list of 8 prompts and I will show you what I'm hoping to read for each. So first off then, prompt number 1, read a work of historical fiction set in the country you're from. So, sorry about all the noise guys, as usual my dogs all decide that now is the time to have a good walk around, clip, 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 clip. Let me find, oh my gosh, why is it all so hard? There we go. So, I don't have this book. I was convinced that I do have it and I have scoured my shelves and I can't find it. So, fingers crossed this one comes in. I've ordered it from the library, but there were already a lot of holes. And that is Disillusion by C.J. Sansom. So I've just finished watching Shard Lake and really enjoyed it. So this was the book I was planning on reading anyway in the month of June. But my hope is now it comes in on time from the library. I read it, I love it. My birthday is 2nd of July, so then I can ask people for the set. That's my idea for my birthday. So this is set in Tudor England. So it says England 1537. It is a time of revolution that sees the greatest changes in England since 1066. Henry VIII has proclaimed himself supreme head of the church. The country is waking up to savage new laws, rigged trials and the greatest network of informers it has ever seen. And under the orders of Thomas Cromwell, a team of commissioners is sent throughout the country to investigate the monasteries. There can be only one outcome: dissolution. But on the Sussex coast, at the monastery of Scansea, events have spiralled out of control. Cromwell's commissioner, Robin Singleton, has been found dead, his head severed from his body, his horrific murder accompanied by equally sinister acts of sacrilege. Matthew Shardlake, lawyer and long-time supporter of reform, has been sent by Cromwell to uncover the truth behind the dark happenings at Scansea. But Shardlake's investigation soon forces him to question everything that he hears and everything that he intrinsically believes. So I think this sounds fabulous, and you know, normally TV shows or films are not as good as the books. So I loved the show, I am bound to love this, it just stands to reason. Next then, read a work of historical fiction set in a different country to the one you're from. And so for this one I've chosen The Mad Women's Ball by Victoria Mass. So this one's set in France in the 1800s, in an asylum. All of Paris is enthralled to Dr. Charcot and his displays of hypnotism on women who have been deemed mad or hysterical. But the truth is more complicated. These women are often inconvenient, unwanted wives or strong-willed daughters. Once a year, a grand event is held, the Mad Women's Ball. For the Parisian elite, it is the highlight of the social season. For the women themselves, it is a rare moment of hope. Genevieve is a senior nurse who has placed her faith in Dr. Charcot and his new science. But everything changes when she meets Eugenie, the daughter of a bourgeois family. For Eugenie has a secret, and she needs Genevieve's help. Their fates will collide on the night of the Mad Women's Ball. So that sounds fun. I've tried to get a good mix of lengths of book here because I'm aware there's going to be like a few chunky ones. So this is a nice short one. Next then, read a work of historical fiction set in a new to you historical time period. And for this one I've chosen West by Caris Davis. Again, it's quite a short book, but from what I can gather it packs quite a punch, and I believe this is set in early frontier America. So yeah, that should be interesting. I've never read anything set then. So it says, when Cy Bellman, American settler and widowed father, reads in the newspaper that huge ancient bones have been discovered in a Kentucky swamp, he is filled with a sense of burning purpose. Sorry, my dogs are digging around now. It's such pains. He leaves his small Pennsylvania farm and young daughter to find out if the rumours are true, that the giant monsters are still alive and roam the uncharted territory beyond the Mississippi River. West is the story of Bellman's journey into a sublime wilderness and of Bess, unprotected and approaching womanhood, waiting at home for her father to return, heralding the arrival of an exceptionally talented and original British novelist, blah-de-blah-de-blah. That's supposed to be really good, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. Next, read a work of historical fiction with a speculative or magical realistic element. So this has been on my Kindle for nearly 10 years. So nearly a decade this has been languishing. And that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And so this is set in the Scottish Highlands. Let me have a look here. So it says 1946 and Claire Randall goes to the Scottish Highlands with her husband Frank. It's a second honeymoon, a chance to re-establish their loving marriage. But one afternoon Claire walks through a circle of standing stones and vanishes into 1743, where the first person she meets is a British Army officer, her husband's 6 times great-grandfather. Unfortunately, Black Jack Randall is not the man his descendant is, and while trying to escape him, Claire falls into the hands of a gang of Scottish outlaws and finds herself a Sassenach, an outlander, in danger from both Jacobites and redcoats. Marooned amid danger, passion and violence, her only chance of safety lies in Jamie Fraser, a gallant young Scots warrior. What begins in compulsion becomes urgent need, and Claire finds herself torn between 2 very different men in 2 irreconcilable lives. So yeah, everybody apart from me, I think, has read Outlander. So yeah, I think it's probably about time. So next, read a work of historical fiction from the perspective of an ordinary person. So at first, I was going to choose Goodnight Mr. Tom by Michelle Magorian, but then I realised I'm taking my son to see this at the theatre on Friday, and so ideally I'd like to read it this week, so I can't really count that for a June readathon. So then I chose The Land by Mildred D. Taylor. Again, this is one that I've had for a long time. Paul Edward is the son of a rich white landowner and black housemaid in the American Deep South in the 1880s. Life is not easy for someone of mixed race, and when his white half-brother lets him down, Paul Edward runs away from home and sets out to fulfil the only dream he's ever had, to own land, every bit as good as his father's. So yeah, it's meant to be a novel about friendship and independence. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I read Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry some years ago, and I absolutely adored it. And I immediately bought this and never got around to it. So yeah, hopefully this is the time. Next, read a work of historical fiction from the perspective of an extraordinary person. And so for this, I am reading something else that's been languishing on my Kindle. This has been on my Kindle for 8 years. And that's Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. So again, this will tie in quite nicely, I think, with the Shard Lake book, because it's set during the same sort of time period and it follows Thomas Cromwell. I actually don't really know what it's about, other than everybody loves it and everybody's read it, except me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Number 7, read a work of historical mystery or historical romance. So I know I could have chose the Shard Lake book for that one, but the hype has finally worn me down, and I really want to give this a go. So it is Julia Quinn's Bridgerton series, the first book, The Duke and I. So this one says, by all accounts, Simon Bassett is on the verge of proposing to his best friend's sister, the lovely and almost on the shelf Daphne Bridgerton. But the 2 of them know the truth. It's all an elaborate plan to keep Simon free from marriage-minded society mothers. And as for Daphne, surely she will attract some worthy suitors now that a duke has declared her desirable. Their ruse works like a charm, at first, but as Daphne waltzes across ballroom after ballroom with Simon, it's hard to remember that their courtship is a complete sham. Maybe it's his devilish smile, certainly it's the way his eyes seem to burn every time he looks at her. It wasn't the plan, but it seems she's falling for the Duke for real. And amidst the glittering, gossipy, cutthroat world of London's elite, there is only one certainty: love ignores every rule. So I'm actually really looking forward to this. I'd quite like to give the series a try as well, the Netflix series. So if you've watched this and read the books, let me know, do I need to read all of the books first before starting the series, or is there enough, like, what would you do? Would you read everything first for this one, or is it different enough that I can just sort of get on with it? You know what I mean? Anyway, I know what I mean. And then finally, please do not laugh at me. Why have I missed one? I haven't missed one, I just didn't include one that I wanted to read, but I'll show it you anyway. But finally then, read a classic work of historical fiction. Now do not laugh, this has been on my TBR several times, but I firmly believe that June 2024 is when I read Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. It's going to happen. This is the time, I promise, I swear it. Gone with the Wind, June 2024. So this is set in the American Civil War and follows Scarlett O'Hara. You know what it's about. I know what it's about. We all know, and we all know I'm going to love it. So why haven't I read it yet? Because it's huge, isn't it? It's huge with tiny text. But yeah, it's happening. This is happening for sure. And then there was this book that I realised that I put out because I really wanted to read it, and then I've not actually fit it into any of the prompts, but it would fit a few of the prompts anyway, so I'll show it you because I'll try and get around to it. And it's Winston Graham's Ross Poldark, the first book in the Poldark series. So this is set in Cornwall in the late 1700s. And it says, tired from a grim war in America, Ross Poldark returns to his land and his family, but the joyful homecoming he has anticipated turns sour, for his father is dead, his estate is derelict, and the girl he loves is engaged to his cousin. But his sympathy for the destitute miners and farmers of the district leads him to rescue a half-starved urchin girl from a fairground brawl and take her home, an act which alters the whole course of his life. So I watched the first series of this years ago, and then I stopped because I wanted to read the books, and then I didn't read the books. There's a theme. There is very much a theme with my book buying. But yeah, I would quite like to get to this in June also. And it would fit a few of the prompts. So it'll fit the historical romance. It's set in my country. So yeah, Poldark. Let's get on it. I'm really excited about this readathon. It's very rare that I dip into historical fiction, and I was really in the mood for it, so it couldn't come at a better time. Thank you very much, Shelley Swearingen, for organising this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me know if you are planning on taking part and what you're planning on reading in the month of June. And I will catch you next time. Bye!